Video 3. This is third attempt to record this morning. Phone keeps shutting off. I'm learning. I'm trying to learn out here, on my own. This is how we learn about ourselves, to be happy inside. That's hard to do when you look at your circumstances and they're not what you want or expect or have wished for, hoped for. Maybe just learning to be happy and accept things for what they are in the day, in the moment, is key. How do we be happy in the moment? Well, we have to be focused on our goals. Our goals need to be driving us to be happy. I lived most of my life inside that box, not understanding the world for what it actually is. And I've been studying for years, trying to figure these things out. Many good teachers I've had. A lot of good information. Too much information, maybe. Because for me, I have to figure things out. I have to know how they operate, and a lot of us are like that. But there comes a point where you can't learn anymore. And you just have to accept things for what they are. Learn to move forward with an open heart, an open mind, but with goals in focus. Being focused, very important. Now, there's too many things to look at, too many things out there to get our attention. Sometimes we just have to go into play mode and be more playful with ourselves, with our lives. Focus on the things that make us happy, make us smile. And I know it makes all the difference in the world. And knowing this, I still revert back to my old ways of thinking. Lots of times. Stepping through this has been hard for me. Because I stay focused for a certain period of time, and then something catches my attention and it goes off in random direction. Happiness. What drives me? What makes me happy is the question that I have to answer for myself. Because I enjoy many different things. I'm the type of person who I've never actually put the time in any one thing to perfect it. But I've learned many different things. This can be good because perfection will keep you locked in a place where you're not free. but it can also help you grow. So today I'm working on perfecting my thoughts of happiness. Breathing, staying in the moment. And I realize, just as much as I try to be a teacher, that I'm always going to be a student. I think that's carried me a long ways. Choosing to be the student. I'm sure that I've taught many others just through my actions, and not tried to be the teacher. Because I realize, I know there are so many things that I know, so many things that could, help someone else. And at the same time, I don't feel qualified. And why is that? When I think about that, it's because of the life that I lived, and for so long, feeling like the outsider, not knowing the truth of the matter, of the things going on around me. It's hard to keep my thoughts focused in one area because of all this learning, all this knowledge that floats around up in the activating system. So I'm learning to be a teacher. And help guide. There are those of you who could benefit from my knowledge, and me realizing this is important. I'm not one for the camera, this is new to me. I've not been doing this for very long, and it pushes me out of my safety zone, and I can see where I'm growing through this. There's so many things that I've wanted to talk about, and I could talk about, and when I start to think about it, it all seems like it's too much, and then I shut down. I don't know where to go with it. But I do have a lifetime of knowledge that I can share, and I'm putting myself out here, being willing to do so, and that's helping me grow. Maybe this changes someone's life. Maybe it doesn't reach anyone, but it's helping me to grow regardless. And through that growth, I can help others. Most of my life, I've whether I want to admit it or not, I've been a people pleaser, and I hate to think that, because thinking about that gives me a sick feeling inside, because that's not who I want to be. But it's the way I was taught. learning to open up and share what's inside of me is not first nature. It's not something that's but I'm here doing it, and I'm growing, and I'm hoping to help someone else through that process. Just being open and honest. I'm not scripting any of this. It just comes through me, or I might pause, I might hesitate. I have a long ways to go, but I've came a long ways. Taking time to acknowledge that means a lot. Makes a big difference. Instead of just focusing on growing, focusing on how far I have come helps me to grow. I see it in these videos. My earlier videos, I can go back to and reflect, and that helps me to see how I'm growing. But it's a process. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. The main thing is that I'm being true to myself. Therefore, I can be true to others at the same time. Carrying this message, it lifts my spirits, thinking that I can help someone else, because I've been there. Focusing on staying happy, on the things that drive and excite me, is where I'm at today. And I'm learning to become a teacher. Intentional. Guys, it's the hardest thing for me. It's the hardest thing that I've done, and it should be. That might be funny for a lot of you. Maybe it's easy for a lot of you guys. Trying to put some pep in my step and think outside the box. Well, the best way that I know how to do that today is just through honesty, because anything else is inside the box. It's entrapment. And that's where I stayed for many years. I'm not nervous, but I lose train of thought, and it's because there's so many things floating around there that I don't always know what to talk about, where to stay focused. That's why today I'm just getting this out there. Growing. Learning new patterns, new routines, and having to teach myself all of this. being a self-taught person, I've learned everything this way. Many things I've learned on YouTube channels. After learning, then I applied it. I guess that's what this is. This is the application to what I've been learning. My goal is to help someone else who has gone through these things of living with narcissism, lies, not their true life, not their true self, helping them to get out of that situation and not have to be there for as long as I have. Because I've held myself in this position, and it's all of my own doing. Today I'm trying to take action. Maybe this message will help someone. If not, it is helping me grow. I love you guys. I have much more to talk about. But the important thing that I'm realizing is to do it in the right context. I'm trying not to be as serious of an individual. And for me, that's tough. Especially in the recent times, the things that I have been able to escape and distance myself from in order to grow is unreal. It's unimaginable. I speak about God. I'm not a religious person, but there's an Almighty. There is a Most High. Whether you see it as a frequency, I choose to call God. It's the God that I had as a child, and he worked for me. So this message it's not a religious thing here. This is a personal thing. And God lives within us. It's a matter of opening up to Him and shutting out the things that we don't want to be a part of. I've been in the world in between, for most of my life. I didn't fit in where I was. I didn't agree with the things there, and they didn't agree with me. But I was not spiritually advanced enough to move to a higher level. By the grace of God, I'm here today. I think because I have a good heart, I have an open heart. I care for people. And that's carried me through my life. And it is my foundation. So as long as I stay true to myself, wanting to help others, I can grow on that foundation, and it will be strong. I try to keep things simple, because the world wants you to complicate things, and that creates confusion. It's so easy to get wrapped up in that and caught up in confusion. Any direction you go when you're not focused on your goals. I'm a loving person, caring person. I've not always shown that through my actions, and I'm human. I get carried away with my thoughts at times and fall into that trap, that loop. It carries me back to the beginning, and I have to start over. And I've done this on a daily basis for years. Trying to get out of that loop, trying to step out of that feedback loop, the old one, and create a better one, happier one. I just want to let you guys know how I can relate to this world of narcissism, manipulation. Trying to open that heart. That old feedback loop is still there, just keeps hitting me. Now, how do we move past that? How do we step out of that? It's through an everyday practice. It doesn't come overnight. I think I'm still recording. Yes. Apparently I have plenty of storage on my phone, but my videos keep going off. This is the third time I've tried to record this morning, so that's kind of odd. In the real world that I'm used to, that's very odd. But learning to think about things on a more spiritual level, they make more sense. Even if they don't make sense, they're there, and it's like the Mandela effect. There are certain things like Chick-fil-A. I saw in another video. It used to be spelled C-H-I-C. Now it has a K. When did that happen? And nobody wants to say that that's how it was, but we know that it was, and it's changed through our attention, observation. One small example. Our focus and attention is everything. Faith goes where attention grows, where attention goes. And that's just a small example of how just our thoughts are changing things. So thinking about that, it reminds me to try to stay in a positive mindset, enjoying more of the things that I want to see. Because I think it really is that simple. But, for me it hasn't been that simple. I've not let it be simple. I complicate everything because I have to analyze and break it down to its basic element, understand how it works. And through that process, I get lost on random things. So these are just some things that I've been working on, trying to focus on, and I hope they can help you. Conscious awareness, focus, alignment, you know, I write these things down. I think about them daily, but the change doesn't happen overnight. I'm learning, I'm realizing that I have to stay focused on these things for a certain period of time before I see the changes. I'm starting to see the changes within, and that's great. That creates more hope and gives me the drive, more drive to continue fear drives most of us. It's the thing that is used most often to control us. And it puts us in a battle with ourselves. You know, the battle is inside. I'm not worried about outside influences. They don't bother me I don't fear them, but they will bother me if I let them. And that's all it takes, is just a small inkling of something to get inside and divert you off of your course. So important to stay positive and focused. Confirmation that I'm doing better. I have on my recording, I'm getting a phone call, feedback loop from my old life. You know, that makes it really tough, because I've had to shut them out completely. Everything I've ever known, and move forward. And it makes it hard because, you know, they are doing it out of love, but it's love inside of that box, so to speak. And inside of that box, there is, other than fear, there's confusion, deception. The box, the cage, the enslavement of our mind. When you love as deeply as I do, care for others, you can't just leave that behind and step forward. It has to be dealt with. You have to be able to release things that were holding you. So that's what I've been working on that for quite some time. And it's taken me years. And the release has just been amplified. Everything right now is intensified. And I realize this is going on throughout the world. But it's going on inside of us. That's where the change has to come from to change the world. There were parts of my old life, many parts that were hard to let go of. And I haven't fully let go of. I have family that I love deeply, including children. Grandchildren. I still can't talk about that. Excuse me. I still can't talk about that much because I'm still learning to release and deal with it. But I know that I'm going to reach a point where, and they're going to reach a point where we're going to grow enough to where we can come back together. Confirmation, another phone call. I haven't had calls from anyone, back home in a while. Confirmation on where your thoughts go and how it loops that back to you. And it's hard not to think about those things when that's your whole life, all it's ever been, all you've ever known. So it has to be dealt with inside. It takes a lot of grief, a lot of setting with yourself and all these thoughts, analyzing and letting them go. Because I know I can't do anything about it. I tried living in that situation for 40 some years, and I couldn't make any changes there. I had to give myself distance to allow the changes within. I'm thankful for that today, that I've been allowed to have that space to work on myself. And I know I'm growing. And I know I have a long ways to go. I guess maybe for me today, the big thing is that I see progress. And that's all it is. It's putting one foot in front of the other. Allowing yourself to make that progress and moving forward. When I look around today at my current circumstances, it's a reflection of where my thoughts have been. And it's random chaos many days. Because I haven't gotten to that point of controlling my own mind completely. these things just show me where my mind has been. I'm thankful that I'm able to see that today. That allows me to make the changes and move forward. Because I really thought I would be a lot further along by now. But it didn't happen because I don't persistently have control of my thoughts. When I do have control, they're not focused in the right area. And they become random, and it shows in reality. My reality today, kind of in the middle of nowhere. I've just not knowing where I've been wanting to go. I just been going. And that was okay for a while. Getting out, seeing new things, different things. It helps me to grow. But it comes to a point where you have to stop and go within. Through my progress, I can see that I'm learning to do that, but I haven't perfected it. Maybe this has been taken me so long and been harder on me because I've not been putting in the effort to perfect it. As I said, I've learned many things throughout my life. I have my background is very well-rounded. I have a wealth of knowledge. Jack of all trades, master of none. So today I'm learning to stay more focused and on where I want to be in life. And hopefully that can help someone else with this, so that they don't have to live this way for as long as I have. In confusion and in doubting yourself when you don't see the things that you hope for, pray for, are working so hard to align with. Because believe me, I've been working at it hard. And I think too hard. It becomes a struggle. I keep working too hard instead of stepping back, relaxing, and allowing. Learning to stay focused. I love you guys. Hope this message can help someone. I really do. Because I feel deeply. I have an open heart. And I understand what you're going through. Have a great day. I'll be back. Bye for now. Love you all. Mean it.